Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for joining in. We'll just begin in another 2 minutes. We'll wait for the participants to join in, whoever has registered, and we'll shortly begin in another 2 minutes or so. Please let me know if the voice is clear, audible before we begin the session. Am I audible? Good evening. Hello. Is the voice clear and audible? Please let me know. Excellent. Audible. Yes. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much for your response. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your response. We can begin the session now. First of all, good evening. Welcome to the session. This edition of Cent Talks. It's such a fine weather here in Bangalore. It's raining, it's drizzling at some places, and it's raining over here, this part where our office is located. And I'm very excited to present this today's Centox session, honestly. We have like a really great content prepared for you. So just before that, like every Centox session that we had in past couple of weeks, a brief intro. I know most of you are already aware of it, but as my duty, I just want to go through the most commonly asked questions that we get through via our Centox sessions or post our Centox session. So, as all of you over here knows, there's Centox, led by international facilitators, aims to provide deep insights to the Centa teacher community, focusing on effective classroom practices and professional growth. We encourage your active registration, enthusiastic participation throughout the polls, Q&A, discussions, and most importantly, at the very end, your valuable feedback. We require your valuable feedback to enrich our sessions or future sessions. And moving forward, this is one common query that we address it every session, and we address a lot after post session. Where do I get the record of participation for this particular session that I have participated? I have filled the feedback form. So it's like a small overview of where you can download your record of participation for the current session without any hassle. For that, if you have registered, please you have to actively participate throughout the session, fill the feedback form that will be shared at the last 10 minutes of the session. So we do not want you to enter only for the feedback session. We really want you that you engage throughout the session, ask Q&A, participate in the polls, and finally, when the session is over, you can post 48 hours, you can go to your account and download your record of participation. It is as easy as that, and you do not have to wait on our mails, or you do not have to put on queries to our team as in like, where can I find a certificate? It's like, so it makes you so independent to get the record of participation. Now I'm just going to guide you where you can download this record of participation. Most importantly, the point is, please register. So if you register, this is hassle free. In case if you have not registered, then we do provide for people who have filled the feedback form, but that will be like a longer route. So if you have the Center app, you can go through this channel. And if you do not have Center app, please download it now from the Play Store and Apple Store as well. You can see in the slide that you can go to My Learning, and in My Learning, you can go to the Centox that you have registered, Center webinar that you have registered. And after 48 hours, you can see that the certificate, the record of participation is available to download. And if you just click on the download, it just gets downloaded like it is. It's very simple. but you have to register. I will repeat this again. You have to register, participate, and fill the feedback form in order for this process to happen. In case your app is not working or some issue is there, this record of participation is also available. If you log in via website, same process. Log into your account in the website, go to my registration, and in my registration, you can find go to you can go to the past sessions, and then in that you can find the session that you have attended, and you see that option of download, and you can download it. So this is for complete hassle free download of your record of participation. We know that record of participation is essential for like an attendance, but we also appreciate if you participate in all the activities that goes on throughout the session. Now, and lastly, I would want to add that please, whenever you get the record of participation, do share and tag us in your social media profile. We would want to reach as much teacher community as we can in order to help them and nurture the teacher upcoming teacher community. So that's just small presentation that I wanted to share. Please write to us. Now, moving forward, we have a very special session prepared for you today. So I just have a small announcement before that. I know many of you had enrolled for a session, The Joy of Reading, which was to be conducted by Ms. Marina. But due to unforeseen circumstances, we had to shift the session to later date, and we will update you sometime later on the rescheduled dates. But and then but because of the circumstances, we got one very good facilitator who is eager to present the most uh, most upcoming topic, which needs to be addressed, which needs to be taken up uh, during the during this time of the year, at the beginning, at the mid, and at the end. So we have Dr. Indira over here. Before I introduce her, I just want to go through like a short poll with you, all of you. So I just want to launch a poll here, and please let me know the answer for this one. I hope you can see the poll. Yep, the poll is out there. I just want to know what you feel about it. Very essential. So I'm getting the result here. Excellent. Parent-teacher meetings are often overlooked by parents, missed due to scheduling conflicts or not taken seriously. Now we are going to address that issue in today's session. That's why this session holds a very important, and I feel that it's a very crucial one. So let me just check the poll result. Okay, and I see that 98% of teachers here say that it's very essential. It is very essential, and this will be the topic that we'll be addressing today and throughout the session. So let's just begin. All right, so we have Dr. Indira over here, and today's webinar topic is The Secret of Joyful Learning, the Role of Parents and Teachers. And the facilitator for the session here is Dr. Indira. Welcome. How are you?
Super duper.
Great, awesome. Thanks for joining in. Before Dr. Indira begins the session, I just want to give a brief introduction about her, a very brief but very exciting introduction, I would say that. So, Dr. Indira VMD, a former agricultural scientist turned educator. She passionately promotes art integrated learning. As you can see in the masterclass, if you have attended any of her masterclass, you would know the flow of the session, how it goes to and fro, and what the activities that is, incorporated into it. She strongly advocates for children to explore through their leisure activities, seeing genuine learning arising from such experiences. Her philosophy stresses that nurturing future citizens is a collective endeavor involving parents, teachers, and society rather than relying solely on individual efforts. Like such a great bio. Thank you for joining in, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Rastogi, and thank you very much for inviting me for this special talk. And honestly, this is something very close to my heart. Now, Rastogi began with the weather in Bangalore, and I'm based out of Hyderabad, and the weather in Hyderabad is hot, but it's thundering. So we are hoping for the rain gods to bless us with some showers. Okay, More on that, we'll go to it later. And now let's go to the session of the day. I hope my screen is visible. Please let me know whether the screen is visible or no on in the chat box. Okay, yeah, great. I think my screen is visible. All right. So, the secret of joyful learning, the role of parents and teachers. Childhood should be always joyful. Agree, disagree. Please comment in the chat box. Agree, disagree. Childhood should be joyful. All right. So, I can get some comments over here. Yes, it should be joyful. Agree, 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 agree. Yes, yes, yes. Agree, agree, agree. Okay, wonderful. So, what is that small secret for joyful learning? And how is it that both parents and teachers play a role? Typically, I chose this topic specifically because nowadays many parents have this opinion. I have paid the fees in the school, now it's a duty of the teacher. Or if the children are going to tuition classes, I am paying every month so much of fees. So it is the responsibility of the tuition teacher to ensure that my child learns each and everything. The parent washes his or her hand away from that responsibility. But it does not work that way. It is much more than that. So, before we delve into and unveil the secret of joyful learning, how parents and teachers play an equal, a very important, well balanced role, here is one small thing. I'm sure all of you have seen this board now as teachers, but let us go back to our days as students in our childhood. Whenever we walk into our class with this little board in front of us, that is indirectly speaking, whenever we walk into the class and see this board for a parent teacher meeting, what are your thoughts when you reflect back to your childhood days, when you were walking into the parent teacher meeting with your parent, holding your mama's hand or papa's hand, going inside, and then the teacher is like, yeah, 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 please come. So what were your thoughts then? Were you scared? Were you very apprehensive? Yes, somebody, Jalpa ma'am is saying result. Yes, I can connect to that. Then Ekta ma'am says feedback given by the teacher. Saurabh sir says joy. Wow. And Rupa ma'am says hardly try. Yeah, that is quite true. Fear, scared, progress. Exactly. Even I can relate to that. So, this is exactly what were our days when we were students. However, we do not want that for our students. We want to change the scenario. So, quickly, before we move ahead, one small thing. Here was a poll. From where are you joining us today? So, 92% of them say they're joining us from India, and there are quite a few from other parts of the world, such as Africa, Philippines, etc. Nice to know that. Now, moving ahead, if you look at this slide, parents and the teachers, both of them are focused on who? The children. But if you look at it, parents are focused on the children, teachers are also focused on the children. However, there is a small disconnect. Let us look at what the disconnect is and how to establish that small connect over there. As we move on, we will be doing this entire webinar in the form of a few case studies. So I request all of you to please be attentive and participate in the case study. So here is a first case study coming right up. I give you 1 minute. I am not going to read this aloud. I give you 1 minute. Please read this on your own. Okay. I assume all of us have read. Yes, I'm getting quite a few replies saying, I've read, ma'am. Done, ma'am. Thank you, Nalini, ma'am. All right. So now we move forward and we recapitulate. Please answer in the chat box. Who is Dhruv? Who is Dhruv? Okay. Okay, so Dhruv is a 7-year-old boy, a small boy. He's a boy and 7 years old, right? What else? He's a student. Also, he just shifted to a new country. Okay. Shifted to new country, right? So Dhruv is a small 7-year-old boy who shifted to a new country because his parents got a new job. All right, now how does he feel? Yes, he's feeling very excited because everything is new, right? New school, new house, new surroundings. So he's very happy and he is excited because he's a new student, and also that he's excited he's going to learn a new language, isn't it? Okay, fine. Now that we know who is Dhruv and how he feels, let us move forward. I give you another 1 minute to read this through. Okay, so now I can see quite a few responses saying that they have finished reading. Okay, now let us move forward. Okay, what happened in this story? What happened? What is the scenario? How does Dhruv feel? Is he happy after coming back from the school? Is he happy? Yes, there was a language barrier, right? And that made Dhruv feel very sad. So he is now really sad because there was a language barrier. The teacher gave instructions, but those were not a language that he could follow comfortably. So the teacher scolded him. And now Dhruv is feeling from this to this. Okay. Now let us move forward. Okay. This is the first pool. Before we move ahead in the story, what do you think Dhruv's parents' first step should be? Should Dhruv's parents send a note to the teacher explaining the situation? Go back and talk to the principal, go back to the school, as in talk to the principal and once again explain, apprise of the situation? Or the third option, change the school completely? What do you think should Dhruv's parents' first step should be? Yes, I do have quite a few votes coming in. And we have another 10 seconds before the voting lines close. Okay. All right. So now that the voting lines have closed, let's look at the result. Yes, I do have a majority of them saying send a note to the teacher explaining the situation. This is 74 people, 74% of the viewers are saying this, while 24% of the viewers are saying go to school, talk to the principal. And we have 1% viewers saying let's just change the school. Nice. Thank you for participating. And I still have comments saying that it should be the first one. Yes, an ideal case scenario is, and again, I repeat, an ideal case scenario is a combination of one and two. So let us see what happens in the story. Here is what happens. Okay. So what happened here? The parents wrote a polite letter in the school diary to addressing it to Dhruv's teacher. A note. Just the in school diary we have, right? Note, communication from parents, note to parents, note to teachers. In that section, the parents wrote a very polite note. And the next day, since Dhruv was quite upset about this entire incident, what did Dhruv's mother do? His mother's name is Lily. Okay. Dhruv's mother also went to the principal, fixed an appointment, and went to the principal to speak to the principal and let him know what happened at the school. And the principal was already aware of Dhruv's situation because before taking admission, Dhruv's parents had met the principal, right? So the principal patiently listened to her and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know this has happened. I'll definitely take the necessary steps." Okay. So now, here is another question for you. And again, in these polls, there are no right or wrong answers. Okay. Here is a next poll question. What could be the consequences of the letter and the meeting? What could be the consequences of the letter and the meeting? Number one, a memo is issued to the teacher. Number two, the teacher services are terminated from the school. Number three, the principal sits with the teacher and analyzes the situation. Which of these? And you have another 15 seconds. All right. I do get quite a few answers in the comment section as well. Majority of them are saying three. I do have quite a few ones also. Okay. Lovely. So now we just close the voting lines and let's look at the results. Okay, so we have 87% of the viewers saying we must analyze the situation, and there are 11% saying issue a memo to the teacher, and 1% of the viewers are saying let's terminate the services of the teacher. But yes, under ideal circumstances, the teacher and the principal sit together, analyze the situation, and then try to chalk out a specific strategy, an ISP, individual study plan, for this particular student, right? And this here, when they are chalking out an individual study plan, they also keep the parent in the loop. So, that is, in other words, this disconnect that we had, this disconnect between parent and teachers is now connected. It is now established. The parents and the teachers, they are coming together and focusing on the child, right? Okay. Now, still, there is a small disconnect established over here. Okay. Sorry, not established. Established is not the right term. There is still a small disconnect existing over here in this particular loop, if you see. So, let us try and resolve that little disconnect as well. So, shall we move forward and go to the second case study? Yes? No? Shall we move forward? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now we move forward to the second case study. Here, this girl called Namita, she's a topper in her class. She's a topper in her class. She's a star in her school because she's an all rounder in every sense, whether it be sports, co curricular, academics, everything. She's a star performer. So her teachers and her parents are very, very happy with her. They also encourage her to participate in each and every co curricular activity. Okay. So, whatever, whether it be quiz, debate, elocution, chess, badminton, swimming, everywhere Namita is there at the forefront. So, she used to get a lot of importance. And gradually, because of that, what happened? She started becoming very rude to everyone at home and at school. When the teachers smile at her, she'll just hold her head high with her nose high up in the air and just walk off. And if her parents asked her anything, she would just ignore and she would act as if she's busy doing something else. Now, this change in behavior, it was disturbing both her parents and teachers. It was quite concerning because she was such a star performer and, she was a very cheerful little girl. But gradually, her behavior completely changed. Her attitude changed. Now, here is a question for you. What should be done in this little case? Should we refer Namita to a counselor for behavioral intervention? Should Namita's parents and teachers sit together, discuss this through the right channels? Through the right channels, I stress on that. Or should both should both the parents and teachers ignore Namita, leave her to her own world, and think that someday she'll come to her senses and she'll realize everything? Which of these? So, yes, I'm already getting quite a few responses, and another 10 seconds for the response. Okay. Funcho Max has said both 1 and 2. All right. Thank you for responding. Okay. And the voting lines have closed. Jessie, ma'am, also says both 1 and 2. Okay. So let's look at the results. Yes. So majority say that both parents and teachers, I'm so sorry. 1 minute. I'll just turn on the pen. Both parents and teachers must sit together and discuss Namita's case, then refer to a counselor, ignore Namita's behavior, 0%. Thank you. That's nice to see. Nobody wants to ignore Namita's behavior. Yes, of course, I agree to that because Namita's behavior was quite concerning. An ideal case scenario would be a combination of both 1 and 2. Namita's parents, teachers, the school counselor, along with the school leader, would sit together, discuss, and chalk out a strategy for providing behavioral intervention. And it differs from case to case, but maybe Namita might need 1 or 2 sessions. But normally, by the looks of it, it looks like it seems to be a result of overconfidence. That's all, right? So, just a small, simple counseling would do the job. Now, here, what is the moral of the story? It is not just parents and teachers coming together to work on the children. Okay. The communication here is two-way everywhere. That is involving parents, teachers, and the children as well. It is not just the parents and teachers communicate to each other, or the teacher always sending a note to the parents saying that tomorrow is this day, send your child in this color dress, or next week we have some environment day celebration, so send some dry leaves with your child. It is not just that, or just a parent sending notes to the teacher saying that my child has not completed homework, my child does not know this, or the parent coming to the PTM and saying, why is my child scoring so less in social studies, or why is my child's English communication so poor. It's not just a one way communication at certain times. The communication is two-way, but not just between the parents and teachers. Children also play an integral part in their own development because it is their own development, their self development. So the communication has to be two-way everywhere. Only then this loop is established and the work will happen. As Rastogi, while introducing me, also said, it's a teamwork. It's not a one man or one woman army alone. It's a teamwork. Not only parents and teachers play an important role in the child's development, the child themselves play a very, very important role. Now, for the child to play an important role, it is important for us as teachers and us as parents to foster the communication amongst the parents and teachers, as well as between the parents and children and the teachers and the children. This is where the loop gets closed and the connect is established. So here I have a few comments. I'll just read out a few of them. So Aruna Man says parents and teachers should also stop burdening the children with their over expectations. Quite true, ma'am. Burdening the children with over expectation. That is where both parents and teachers should come together and communicate. I'll just show you how. So, yes, there is also a comment saying that in some cases, children get irritated by involving all the time in everything. Yes, I can very much relate to that, ma'am. It could also be that Namita started ignoring or, looking the other way, just thinking that, oh, if I smile and respond, they might catch hold of me and put me in some other activity. That could also be a strategy. So this is why it is very important for the teachers and the parents to come together, talk to Namita, as well as a counselor also talk to Namita and help her come out of this particular situation. All right, so now the next part, we move on, understanding the WIIFM factor. WIIFM stands for what's in it for me. In Hindi, we commonly say mera kya or mujhe kya. That is, what is in this particular thing for me. For parents, for teachers, communication is very, very important. Now, as a teacher, if I communicate, if I keep up the communication, then I can share my students' academic progress and growth with the parents. I update the parents on the upcoming school plans. Also, apprise the child's needs to the parents. So, whenever I'm communicating with my parents, with my students' parents, not with my parents in the literal sense, but with my students' parents, I can apprise the parents on the child's needs. Also, it is not just one way, as I told you. It's not just me as a teacher telling my students' parents saying that your child is excellent in this subject. In this subject, the child needs some hand holding, or on such and such date our school is planning for a magic show, or on such and such date we are planning for a field trip, and this and these are the financials, this is the timing. It is not that. It is also asking the parent, sir or ma'am, can you tell me what are the different roles that your child plays at home? Does he help you? Does she help you? Does my student so and so have a sibling? Or another way, sir or ma'am, how is your health doing? Are you okay? I have observed that your child has been, don't say your child, I have observed that so and so has been slightly lax in such and such homework. Is there any difficulty? Are you okay? Are you, as a parent, doing well? Are you happy with the child's progress? What are your expectations? How is the child doing at home? What does he or she do? Who packs his or her bag? These are some very, very important questions to ask. These are very probing questions, because from there we understand whether the child has a role to play or everything is being spoon fed to the child at home, or the child is doing each and everything. The parents just don't bother about it. What exactly is the role? And does a child have any responsibilities? This is very important. A small incident I can just narrate. There was a student in one of my colleagues' class who just refused to do homework. Refused as in he was unable to do homework. Okay, he was helpless. So every time my colleague asked, what happened? Why you're not doing homework? He would just shake his head, saying that he has not done. He refused to speak anything beyond that. Okay. Now his parents, there is a parent teacher meeting that used to be organized every 3 months. It is still organized. Uh, it was organized every 3 months. The parent did not come in the first PTM, second PTM. The parents did not come. Third PTM, the class teacher, my colleague, actually called up the parent and said, "You should come tomorrow to the PTM, or else I am not going to let your child sit in the class." Okay. The mother came for the PTM. And during the PTM, the first thing my colleague did was to list out all the complaints of the child. Okay. The child was quite naughty. I agree. The child was quite mischievous. So she listed out, my colleague listed out all the complaints of the child. And then she said, also, the child does not do homework. Very naughty, very mischievous. Does not even do any of the homework. Does not bring chart papers if we ask the child to. The mother patiently listened to everything. And the mother said, "Ma'am, thank you very much. I'm sorry my child has been so disturbing in the entire class. The thing is, we could not pay attention at home because after coming home, he is himself washing the uniform, putting it to dry, takes bath, and then takes some snacks from the cupboard, eats, and after that, he'll wait patiently for me." He said, the mother said, "My child waits patiently for me because I'm sleeping when my child walks into the house." Okay. And sometimes I'm not even there at home. When I'm not there at home, it is our grandparents who are there. It is my child's grandparents who are there to look after my child. I am suffering from a terminal disease, and my child looks after me and my husband. The moment we are, whenever my husband comes in from office, he takes the bag, everything. He takes care of my husband's needs. That is, in other words, the child was being responsible at home, but the teacher never realized it. This is the reason why the last point is very, very, very important. Understand the child's roles and responsibilities at home. Often the child would not say, especially if he or she is an introvert. So, we as teachers, that is the reason this is the last point because it's the most important one. Understand the child's role and responsibilities at home. As a teacher, this is what is there for us in the PTM. Now we move on to understand what's in it for us as a parent. And this I'm addressing to all of you, not only from the point of view as a teacher, but also as a parent. As a parent, through the parent teacher interaction, I am aware of the child's performance and behavior. I play an active role in my child's development, and I can set expectations with the teacher. This last point, again, it's a reiteration of the incident I just narrated a while back in the previous slide. Setting the expectations correct with the teacher. This is very, very important for us as parents. Also, this is a very important platform for us if there's a discord between the two parents and if there is a problem that is faced at home for which the child is being affected, due to which, not for which, my apologies, due to which the child is being affected, then it is very important for us as parents to update the teacher on the developments at home. This was understanding the WIIFM factor. What happens because of all this? This loop on parents, teachers, and children, developing the child, ensuring a joyful learning so that the child's growth is not affected in any way, is ensured. But now the question is how to maintain this. Yes, ma'am, Rubina, ma'am, rightly said, empathy towards the student should be displayed. Also, Dipali ma'am said it is very important to talk to the child and build a bond of trust and confidence. Yes, absolutely correct, ma'am. Now, my question is how do we maintain this loop on parent, teacher, and children interaction? This two-way interaction. How do we maintain this? Okay, I can get quite a few. Bonding, empathy, taking care of the child. All right. So, yes, identify the child's potential, understand the child's feelings. All this is true. And we maintain this with the 3C. The formula is the 3C: communicate, consistently, and collaborate. Communicate. Communication, a two-way communication at every stage between the parents and teachers, between the teachers and the children, and between the parents and the children. It's a two-way communication. It's not at all a one-way communication. A two-way communication. That's the first C. Second C, consistency. Develop consistent interaction with the child, with the teacher, with the parent. That consistency in communication should be maintained. One small tip I can give you. Um, I happen to hear from my son that there was a there was a special child in his class. Okay, and the girl actually walked all the way from the school to her home all alone, and it was the first time she did. Okay, all alone. The parents were supposed to come to pick, but the parents got delayed by 5 minutes. Of course, there was a small security issue. Fingers were pointed at the security issue of the school, but those things, let us ignore that. Let's keep that aside. But the child walked all the way from the school to her home all alone. And this she did for the first time, although being a special child. It was said that her memory is very weak, she is not responding, and all that. But she walked all the way from the school to her house all alone. And I'm reiterating the fact, all alone. What happened in that? That actually threw a huge spotlight, that actually put a spotlight on the child's progress. So the moment I heard this, I shot off a mail to the school, congratulating the teamwork, congratulating the teachers, saying that your hard work has helped the child improve and progress to a certain stage. You can, as a parent, send a mail for random things appreciating the school for what they did, for the teamwork, or for some good, progress that you noticed in your child. Instead of pushing it off to the PTM, and then going in the PTM and telling the teacher, just shoot a mail then and there. Nowadays we all have WhatsApp communications, we have communications over the school app, even school emails, right? Send a mail to the school as a parent, saying that I happen to notice this in my wards. This That was a very good effort on part of the teachers. Congratulations, kudos. The school feels nice. Okay, Same way from the other side also. If the teachers notice something really good, something very starking in the child, please sit up then and there, write a note in the diary appreciating the child and send it off to the parent. Why in the diary? Because that becomes a record. Yes, you can definitely call up the parent in front of the admin, the school admin, involve the school admin or the coordinator, school leader, whoever, as per the protocols of your school. Additionally, send it in a send make it a record in the diary note and send it to the parent. The parents would feel very nice. That establishes a two-way communication consistently. Once a month is more than enough, but it establishes a consistent communication platform and helps us, both as parents and teachers, to collaborate and boost the academic success. To collaborate, it's a teamwork. It's not just the teacher, it's not the responsibility of just the teacher or the parent alone. It's a teamwork. Both parents and teachers are equally involved in the child's progress. Yes, I know I sound like a parrot repeating the same thing again and again, but yes, this is very, very important. And last but not the least, when we maintain the three C's, that is consistent communication and collaborative effort, consistent communication and collaborative effort, it avoids conflict, understands each other's perspective, each other, both the parents and the teachers' perspective. We can discuss, we feel more approachable. The teacher is more approachable for us. As a parent, the teacher, I'm sorry, I'll just rephrase myself. Both the teachers and parents feel more approachable towards each other and more free to discuss the achievements and improvement. Both play an active and amiable role. Amiable means very cooperative role in the child's progress. For both, they feel, oh, this is my child. The teacher does not feel this is my student. When we are collaborating and when we put in team effort, that this is my student transforms to being this is my child. That ownership is there. And same thing for the parent also. This is my ward. From there, it is transformed to being my child. There is that ownership. They're active, amiable, and they're focused. Both parents and teachers are focused on the attainable goals. What are the attainable goals? A holistic, logical development and growth of the child, and of course, exchange of significant information. This is how the parents and teachers come together to create a joyful, safe learning environment. Thank you very much for listening to me, for being such a patient, active listeners. I just stopped my screen share. And any questions, please feel free to
Yes,
shoot.
such an interesting question. I know that is coming up right now. Before that, before we take up questions, participants, please feel free to put up your questions over here. Just I just want to summarize and like give my thoughts as well because it was such an interesting session and a take on that was like from a very different POV. So, there were some teachers who had mentioned that the tone of communication is plays such a crucial role, even with teachers talking to their parents and parents talking to teachers or to their children. That plays like a very crucial key. Like, do you agree? And then, do you think that okay, the right words also play very important, which words to use, and then because the words and the tone at certain ages impacts their development impacts they absorb a lot of things. So I feel like that is one of like a very crucial point which was you also put it up, and also there are some teachers who highlighted them. So yes, okay, please put in your questions and we'll take questions.
Also, there was one comment over here. I'll just read that out. Somebody, I'm not quite sure who actually put it up, but they said parents don't want to appreciate the teachers, which is quite true, ma'am. I have also come across that scenario quite a bit. Parents don't want to appreciate the teachers. But in that case, what we can do is, let us go ahead and appreciate the parents. Let us go ahead and keep up the communication, appreciating the children on what they did. Okay. Ask the children, what is it that happened yesterday? What did your mom cook? Or what did your dad cook? What did your mom say? What were the jokes that happened? Or something like that. And appreciate the parent, saying that your child said this. I appreciate this effort. Let us let us put the first foot, take the first step, and say that yes, this is fine, that what you are doing is great. So then naturally the parents would come back to us. Yes, there is a Soma ma'am is asking, in
Yeah.
what ways can parents reinforce the lessons and values taught in the classroom at home? A very good question. Here, one of the best ways is to involve the students or child the children in the household work. That is one very good way, okay, to reinforce some of the lessons. So for example, this is just thinking loud. You take the newspaper, we fold the newspaper. What shape is it? And when you open the newspaper completely, it is one whole. Then you fold it, right? When we keep folding it, the first fold, it becomes one by two. Second fold, then it becomes one fourth or one third, right? So that way we can reinforce the concept of fraction. This is just a thinking aloud remark, that I'm feedback that I'm giving.
Yeah, true.
But yes,
Very
this
true.
is one way we can do it. Okay, we can reinforce the learning through these small little practical stuff. One of my parents, now she was a botanist. Okay, so when her daughter got introduced to the binomial nomenclature in botany, okay, like the names of different plants and different animals and all that. So what this parent did was, she actually made name labels for most of the ingredients in the kitchen, like for turmeric, for rice. For rice, she had put it as, or rice is sativa. Okay. And then for wheat, the binomial nomenclature. Then for the prayers, they used to use hibiscus flask. So there also she had put hibiscus rosa sinensis. She had put it in that. We have an Aarti Thalia puja plate. So she had put that gum label there. Okay. For turmeric, she had put curcumum longa. So all the different the botanical names, they were stuck. So when each and every time the child looks at it, she remembers the names. This is
Mm.
one another way to do it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
here we have one more question. What about the parents who are not having much qualification? How do we make
Mm.
them understand? That is one very big place where this communication and appreciating what they do at home comes in. We appreciate the parents in whatever they do at home. So then automatically the parent would come back to us and admit that we are not much qualified, but these are the expectations we have for our child. One parent actually came to me and said, I want my child to speak only in English. I don't want my child to speak in mother tongue or anything. I want my child to speak only in English. Because I believe if we speak in English, they become big and very important, big people. Okay. And they were coming from very low backgrounds. But yes, let us take the first step. Yes, Rastogi, over to you. Please go
No,
ahead.
I saw some words like that. Parents feel that they are inferior. Those comments also came by when you were taking the topic. So, like, very true on that one. And then there was some question in the beginning of the session and somewhere mid when you were explaining about counseling, how parents-teacher interactions plays a very crucial role. So, a teacher asked whether this is applicable, whatever the suggestions that we are discussing over here, the methods that we are discussing over here to deal in PTM, is it applicable for primary? Is it
Yes,
applicable also for the senior secondary? Or like,
yes,
do you
yes.
think that we should wait for their growth? Like, because
No,
at
no, no.
different
Let
standards
it
it
be
matters.
across the grade, right from day one of the schooling till the last day of schooling. Schooling, even nowadays, even I've seen quite a few colleges also having these parent teacher interactions because that is one of the recommendations in NAC accreditation. So there are some colleges who also have these parent teacher interactions. Please keep up the interaction irrespective of the age. If your child is being educated and if we are playing the primary responsibility of being the owners of our children, then yes, we should keep up the communication.
Great. It's just a great take on different situations, especially the case study. I personally I enjoyed it. Like how the growth progresses on dealing with different situations at hand, and how crucial each and every part, whether it's from the parent side or how teachers should deal from the parent side, was brought into this session. So thank you so much for coming here and then like enlightening us with all these important points and case study. Hope you join us again sometime again. Uh,
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Dr. Indira.
Thank you. I
And
also
thank you.
enjoyed this.
Great. And to everyone over here, please, we have next sessions planned. Please join us for next session. Do fill the feedback form, participate, register for the sessions. We have like a really good lineup coming up this month. And we always appreciate your feedback to us, whether like, appreciating us or with any query, we are open to suggestions as well. Thank you so much for joining today. Have a great night and good morning to most of you. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.